My name is Noah Smith. I'm with a company called Common Media. I'm the co-founder and CEO. We're a vendor with Janet and Angel's. I should start over. I am I'm Noah Smith. I'm a vendor with Common Media. We work with the Digital Humanities Institute here. We build out tools and infrastructure for liberal arts colleges working with ILiADS. We do all sorts of other things as well, and I'm here as an expert on user experience design, software architecture, and all things digital.
Great. Can you describe a little of what you've been doing this past week at ILiADS, sort of what the role of expert entails for you?
Sure. At ILiADS this week, I've been working with 3 or 4 different project teams with all sorts of wide-ranging goals. It's really interesting to see what everybody comes to a conference like this with. It's energizing to see everybody in the planning stages, because often when we work with them, it's when they've worked out what really difficult problem they need our help with. We don't typically get the easy problems. They're typically solved way before it gets to bringing in a vendor or an expert. So it's a lot of fun to sort of see that sifting process in real time, working through all of these problems, evaluating who at the home institution is able to help with a solution and where experts might be necessary.
Excellent. So can you describe a little bit of some of the projects that you've helped people with? I know that they cover a wide range, but when you come into a project, what is it that you're trying to help people to accomplish?
So I can describe a few projects in particular. I've worked with the Davidson team. They have content that is a narrative and some sort of original text. And what we've worked on is creating a side-by-side viewer, so you can read along through a narrative and have the side-by-side reference text scroll with you as you move through that object. I put together a little prototype, and we've spent the morning here wiring it into their WordPress site. So that's been really interesting, and I think they're walking out of here with actually a new tool for presenting their work in the digital humanities. I've also really enjoyed working with the Occidental team. They have a really interesting project related to their media wall, and they have a successful project, and they're ready to take it to the next level by offering the software to other institutions. So that's my favorite sort of project, where we're sort of spitballing software architecture and support structures and whatnot to put together a plan that might be applicable to more institutions than just where this little piece of software started.
Excellent. So you mentioned that this is the projects that you're coming on to at ILiADS are in different stages than you usually get, because they're earlier in their development than most people typically call in the experts for. Has that been beneficial to your thinking about your role or your company's role? Is there something that you're taking away from the experience that you've had here that you'd like to expand on?
Definitely. I think I came in thinking a lot about this ILiADS consortial group that we work with, which is a group of maybe 20-odd colleges that all use ILiADS, which is the big digital humanities, or I should say the big digital repository software that we work with most often. And in listening to all the discussions about how projects get funded and how people set up to work over multiple years with multiple sets of students, it's really been interesting to reevaluate how the ILiADS consortial group should work. I've come around to a perspective just listening to everybody talk here, where perhaps that group should be putting out consortial grants, writing for consortial grant opportunities, and then ensuring that those grants are well executed across a consortium. Right now, it's more of a process where somebody has a good idea, and then everybody scrapes together a little money to go do something that everybody has a goal to do. But it's really tough to pull out of your operational budgets, even for something as mutually beneficial as consortial software development. It's work we really enjoy, because we get to satisfy a lot of people who need the same thing and help everybody achieve sort of consensus on the goals and priorities of a project. but the rub is always funding. I guess it always is in everything, but it's been really eye-opening to see the planning stages, the multi-year planning stages, and talk about how projects really should be funded in the digital humanities.
Sorry, I had a question and it just flew out of my mind. So, have you gotten a chance this week to talk to any of the other experts? I know that they're all, kind of flying around doing different things. What has being in the ILiADS community been like? Are there things that you would like to see developed further if ILiADS continues? Are there strengths that you really responded to and want to see more of in the years to come?
It was funny when Janet described the conference to me when she invited me. I thought, wait, it's a week where everybody gets together and talks about the project that they don't have time to think about on a normal basis. And it turns out that's exactly what it is, but it's so desperately needed. It's a wonderful thing. I actually had a chance to work with other experts here who I've known and worked with remotely but never met in person. So that was terrific to get to see them and sort of work through problems on a whiteboard with them. So I'm really thankful for that opportunity.
Are there things that you think could be developed further or improved on? Stuff that you would like to see kind of take a new tangent.
I liked the working sessions, but I'm more of a maker or a doer. The talks were interesting, and I got a little bit out of each one. I think it could be interesting to sort of have a theme or a research focus where people come and talk about their past successes, and everybody can learn a little bit about that. And it's less about the future and more about what we can learn from our past projects.
I think that would be an interesting, we always kind of come into DH things in the middle of them or at the beginning of them. So to have a finished project would be,
Yeah. I think one of the problems with this work in general is as soon as you finish a project, you're on to the next thing. Like there's never any downtime. You've got grant guidelines to satisfy, and it's good to get people to stand up and show off what they did because everybody here does really good work.
Yeah, I think maybe we have the curse of never being finished with anything.
Never. That's digital.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit curious how you got into the digital humanities.
I was a computer science and classics major at Colby College. I graduated in 2005. I went to Tufts University for my graduate work, and I focused on computer science and software architecture. I finished up my master's and decided I would rather start a company that did web development than to go into academia. Partly because of some of the issues that are raised here. The people that I really respected were not getting tenure, and it was sort of arbitrary decisions to my mind then, based on the old way of thinking about what does it mean to be a productive and valuable member of the academic community. So over the last 10 years or so since I finished grad school and started the web development company, we've worked our way back towards where I started, which was addressing the humanities problems with software. It's maybe a quarter or a third of what we do as a company now, but it's a piece that really lets me connect with what got me interested in writing software to begin with. So I'm very happy to be back and able to work in a community like this.
Excellent. So I guess just to, as a way of wrapping up, I guess how do you sort of keep the momentum of ILiADS going? Are there things that you would really like to work more on that you've discovered here? Are there problems that have arisen because of things that you've talked about, areas where you realize that you suddenly need to invest more energy into those things? I guess it's just kind of where do we go from here?
As an expert, I'm definitely interested in keeping up with a couple of the project teams that I've worked with, and I'm interested in seeing where some others go. So I mentioned Colby. Colby has a project team here. They're doing a very interesting project that doesn't need any input from me, but I'll definitely follow along with that and offer expertise in the future if I'm able to. So for me, where does ILiADS go is perhaps mostly setting up for next year and just moving through the project space. I see a number of these folks at conferences throughout the year, and it's great to have something to catch up on. Oftentimes we talk about ongoing projects that have some very good visibility, but it's wonderful to be able to talk with folks about what they're thinking about and planning about right now.